Hi guys, Darren from Venom Fluid Art. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Fluid Art Express. Up first you would have seen Taslima from Taslima Maya Art. After me we have Kristey from Creations by Kristey, Shannon from ShanB Fluid Art, Bubbles from Venom Fluid Art, and last but not least, Tony and Kat from the Hippy Dippy Painter Man. So stay on board and enjoy the ride. So, I get asked a lot of questions about when you spin your design out, does it matter what direction you go in? So, I figured I'd give you a physics lesson. Yeah, I know. We all did it at school. We don't want to do that. We just want to paint. But this comes in handy. Now, rather than me go into the scientific equations of it all and bore you senseless with that, I figured it's easier if I just show you. So, I've got a 6-inch tile here. And I'm going to throw some pillow paint down on it. Now, that's just British paints, low sheen, straight out of the can. Nothing's added to it. It's just put into a sauce bottle so that it makes it easier to squirt onto whatever we're painting on. Right, so I'm going to lay some of that down. So, when you do a swipe or do a bloom or anything like that, your paints are going to move on this pillow. The pillow is actually going to spread out all directions evenly as it goes when it rotates. The forces want to throw it outwards, every direction, all equally. But what you have to remember is anything that's off that center mark is going to take off that direction and that direction if you spin it anti-clockwise. If you spin it clockwise, it's going to want to take off outwards and in the opposite direction of the rotation of your spinner. So, that's why you can get wonky cells. So what I'm going to do is lay just some strip of paint right up the middle of it. Alright, so that is going to want to spread sideways, and it's want to go that way as well, both directions. The problem being, as you spin, say anti-clockwise, that line wants to move sideways. So if you've blown out a bloom, you can get wonky cells because it starts to shift in the direction that, like the opposite direction of what you're spinning in. That's why I spin both directions. So to show you an exaggerated version of that, we're going to use a big steel marble. Going to put it right in the middle of our tile, which is there. Now, if I spin this anti-clockwise, it will want to take off sideways and the opposite direction of what it's spinning in. So what we'll do is give that a spin and see what happens. Alright, spin it, go a little bit quicker. Now, you can see from your line, it moved out, heading towards the outside. The force of this spinner coming around this way has made the ball actually turn the opposite direction of what you're spinning in. So if you've blown out a bloom and you spin it quick, that's what happens to your cells. They all move out and curve. Do that again, put in the middle. We'll spin it. Mass will start moving outwards. There it goes. See, it wants to go the opposite direction. Same goes if you spin it the other way. Straight away, it wants to move out the opposite way. So that's where you can get wonky cells. That's why I always give it a spin one way. Spin it back the other way. So that line there is pretty straight. Give it a decent spin. You notice it's curved this direction. There you go. Quick, easy physics lesson for the day. That's why I always spin both directions. It sort of evens the cells up as you spin it out. So go in one direction, they'll move the opposite direction. Go back the other way, it'll try and straighten them out. So you're really getting an exaggerated line like that with your cells. They'll never ever spin straight out perfectly. Another thing is, if you've got something that's dead center of your tile, like that, give it a spin. Would have helped if it was totally in the middle, but close. See how it stays pretty much round when it's dead center of your tile. Now, if you put that dot off center, there's going to be more mass wanting it to go that way than that way. See how that's curved that direction? Opposite direction of what we spun in. It's moved straight out. Curved that way. It didn't spread out like this center one is. That's where you start getting wonky cells and things like that. Especially if you're doing triple blooms or something like that. They are never ever going to be round perfect blooms. You can get them close by cheating, but they'll never ever be perfectly round like what the center is. They will always be elongated one way, and the bigger your piece gets, the more exaggerated that gets. So just one thing to keep in mind when you are using the spinner to spin your stuff out. Same with a swipe. So if you run a swipe through the middle, what I'll do is grab another colour so we can mix it up a bit. Grab a blue. Alright, so we'll keep that pretty much in a straight line. Grab some Selectivator. Give that a bit of a stir. Put some on our palette knife. Alright, so we've got our swipe up the middle. When we spin that out, it wants to go those directions. And because of the length of that and the amount of paint that's on, it's want to go more sideways than what it will that way. So when you spin that, hardly ever spread. It's just stretched that way. So now if we go off center, which is over here right next to the edge, that's it won't spread back this way towards the center. It'll spread straight off the tile. I just thought this would be handy so that you can see why things fly off your tile and how things spread out just by changing where they are on your piece when you spin it out with a spinner. Alright, got some little cells going on. Won't bother waiting for it to do its thing. Now that is going to want to spread that direction, that way, and not as much that way. There's more force throwing your paint out. There's none trying to throw it in. Now if you've got a lot of pillow paint on there, it's going to exaggerate that even more. It's really going to take off. See, so that hasn't spread into the center, it's just gone straight off the tile. So that's a fun way of looking at the physics of a spinner. That way you can learn how to manipulate the way paint moves. So what I'll do is I'll press pause and scrape this one off and we'll do a little painting. Okie dokie. So same 6-inch tile. I've put a pillow paint down. Now normal bloom, you do it dead center. What we're going to do is have it off center. Right, so put a couple of colours down. That's purple. Everyone loves purple. And we'll go a yellow. Okay, grab some selector beta. Give it a blow. All right. So there we have our little bloom. Speed things up. Give that a blow. So, because that is not in the center of that, it is going to want to spread that direction as it spins. All that weight is wanting to go this way. So that is going to distort that. So what we'll do is give it a spin. Doesn't matter what direction you go, makes no difference. See how it hasn't moved right across the tile? It's all just moved straight off the side. Excuse me. Like that. That's all sitting on the spinner. The whole lot's moved across splat. So what we'll do is get rid of that. And we'll give it another spin. This time we'll go for the center. What I usually like to do is put some pillow paint down, spin, that spreads it out. Not too worried about that. You just add a bit of what's spun off with your finger, like that. And then we'll do a bloom right in the middle. And our blue. Right, so the closer you keep it to the middle and most even as possible, the better for you. Add some cell activator again. Blow it out. Right, so that's pretty much close to the center. We've tried to keep it even. It's a little bit more off to one side, no big deal. But where there's more paint off one side, that is going to stretch out more than what that will. So if you give it a spin, it's already just starting to distort because it's a little bit off the center mark. All of these here start to distort, and the faster you go, the worse it gets. So see how the section that was off to one side a little bit, it's tended to move that direction. We're left with this wide open gap where it hasn't spun out totally evenly. So that's another thing when you actually blow out your blooms. If you don't blow them out evenly, you can still get that sort of thing that happens. Alright, so what I might do is do another quick one. Just go straight over the top of it. Alright, we'll have another go. So that tile needs to be dead center of your spinner. Your little balls of paint need to be in the center of the spinner. Also, consistencies make a difference too. If you've got one color that's a little bit thicker than the others, it's going to want to move a little bit slower than thinner colours, which will end up distorting cells as well. It's a purple. Oops. Hit the pillow. Nice job, one back. All good. Doesn't matter. You can always throw a little pattern in through it. Alright, we'll give that a spin. If you just go slow and let the paint actually move and do its thing, it ends up being a little bit better. You're still going to get wonky cells no matter what you do. It's really hard not to get them. And the hotter your temperature is in the room that you're painting in, really makes it worse. Like here at the moment, it's about 95 to 100 in this room. So heat definitely affects the paint. Alright, so because that one was pretty much dead center, it was blown out reasonably even, the cells look a lot nicer. They're not really warped like the previous ones. So it's just one thing to keep in mind when you're placing your colours on the pillow. Things will move in different ways and give you wonky bits and things like that. So hopefully that video will help. Up next, we have Kristey from Creations by Kristey. So if you click on her name in the title of this video, it'll take you to her YouTube channel. If you're in the live chat, just click on the link that I put in there. It'll take you directly to her premiere. And if you're a member of Paint Pouring by Venom Fluid Art on Facebook, just click on the links that I put in there and it will take you to a playlist. You just hit play all and it will play everybody on the Express one after another, so you don't have to go hunting for videos. Alright guys, that's it from me. See you over at Kristey's. Have fun, take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.